What's up, everyone? It's Dr. Jones, better known as the Olivia Pope of Education. I'm in the midst of thinking, like, maybe we need to change the narrative on that hashtag because it's more about the Olivia Pope of restorative justice. But we'll talk about that at some point in time. And I usually decide to just take 60 seconds, give you 1 minute hollow on restorative justice, but this one may take a little bit more time because I want to make sure that we hone in on the idea of the importance of restorative justice, right? And if you know anything, I go off the whim. I don't have a script. I do have an idea of what I want to share. I don't have retakes. This is like raw and right now in the moment. And so I've been doing a lot of work in terms of restorative justice, trauma, becoming more trauma informed, how to go from pain to healing, how to go from pain to restoration and total restoration, or how to go from punishment to consequence, from consequence to solution, or from solution to restoration, which is better known as that punishment to restoration continuum. But I just want us to take the time to think about our own lives, right? And so most times when we think about restorative justice, we tend to think about the relationships that have been broken, or things that are situations or misunderstandings, some type of confusion. It doesn't have to be the most egregious, doesn't have to be the most painful, but there's something that's disrupting the environment or your ecosystem in terms of the relationships you have with other individuals, vice versa, however you want to see it. But when I had to really think about it, we live in a day and age of instant gratification. We live in a day and age that, you want to plant the seed and reap the benefits from that seed in the same day. And it doesn't work that way. I don't care what day and age we live in. And we have to be able to be honest with ourselves. And so one of the things I want to share quickly is that I have been overweight the majority of my life. And the other day I hit a milestone, and when I went to my weight loss doctor, he was like, in the last 10 years, this is the best you have done in terms of not just getting the weight off, but maintaining a healthy way of living. And I'm not saying I can't do more, because I definitely can, but what I do want to be able to do is, 1, show myself some grace, 2, show myself compassion, and 3, show myself some empathy. But more importantly, before we even get to the compassion and empathy and things of that nature, we have to get to the just the understanding that harm does not happen overnight. It's a buildup. It's this idea. It starts with an idea, it starts with a thought, and then it goes from thought to action, and from action to, of course, the punitive side of things. And so it is not going to happen overnight. And what I mean by that is that your healing is not going to happen overnight. Healing is like eternal, that the moment that you make the decision to take your life back, right, to restore yourself, to restore your soul, to restore your mind, to restore your body, to restore your strength, it's going to take time. I didn't gain this weight overnight, so I'm not going to lose it overnight. So what I am going to do is celebrate every milestone that I can. And so I hope that what I've just shared in this few moments is that I don't care how much pain you have experienced, and that's not to downplay your pain, is that if you're going to be serious, if you're going to be committed, if you're going to be dedicated to this process to get from pain to healing, that is it's everlasting, that you have to be committed to understand that you're not going to see results overnight. The other thing is that, doing the work that I do, we have situations where we see things happening, and we the bystander. How can we move from being the bystander to the upstander? And one way we can do that is that we all can be an upstander. It doesn't have to just be one person. It doesn't have to be this isolated situation where you are the point person to be able to stand up, speak up, and speak out. I want us to get to a place where we get honest about having an immediate response. Not immediate in the sense that is off the whim, like what I do with these videos, but more in intentional, more in deliberate, and making sure that when there is something happening in terms of a harm, and we see it happening, whether it's something that's happening to us directly or indirectly, that we pave the way, we make way, we create a process in place to be able to speak up and speak out, advocate for yourself as well as advocate for others. Most times when you have the inability to advocate for yourself, of course you can't advocate for someone else. But if we have to take a step back, most people who are ill-equipped to advocate or don't know how to properly advocate for themselves, it comes from a place of not being aware of who you are, what you stand for, knowing your moral compass, knowing your values, and your why. When you get to your why, not only can you advocate for yourself in an effective and efficient way, you can do that for someone else. And so that is not just my 1 minute holler. This is me being able to say, hey, let's get real with our lives. Let's get real about the realities of it all. Let's understand that we're living in the midst of a pandemic. The pandemic is still real. People are still losing their lives. Just because it's not it's not garnering the same attention that it once did back in March of 2020. Here we are, April 2022, and we're still in the midst of this pandemic. We're losing people to COVID. We're losing people to overdose. We're losing people to the idea that living on this world is no longer possible. And so people are dying by suicide. I want us to be able to take back our lives. I want us to be able to take back our souls, our spirits, and take back our energy so we can take back our villages. And with that being said, I love you. My name is Dr. Jones, and I hope you enjoy what I had to say.